So our websites have been, you open them, you do stuff, and then you lose everything. There's been no saving. So as soon as you refresh the page, as soon as you close it, you come back to it, everything's gone. So I'm going to show you a cool way that you can save some data, specifically an object, in a place called local storage. So local storage is on the user's end. So you wouldn't really want to save sensitive data there, but nevertheless, it's a good place to start. So let's create an object. I'm going to create a car. Now I noticed I used const last time for an object creation. You can use let as well. And for what I need to do today, I'm going to use let. So if you want to just use let, like it's no difference. It makes no difference. Like you can always use let. It's the same as like the get element by ID stuff, whatever. So I've got this car object, and what properties could I include? Well, I could include a model, you know, like what kind of car it is. I'll use my BMW. What year I could include? What's so when the year was manufactured, or the car was manufactured. And I could do how many kilometers it has on it. And sure, I know mine's got quite a bit on it. So I've just created this object. Now, if I wanted to save this object to a file, so for example, let's pretend that the user told me the model, the user told me the year, and the user told me the kilometers. So I didn't know what the user was necessarily going to give me. I just don't want to set it up because it takes too long, and we've done it 1,000 times. So if the user created this car, I want to save that car so that the user can use it again. It's like if they made an account on your website, they shouldn't have to make an account every time they use your website. You should be storing that information. And it's actually not too complicated to store an object. If you want to store an object, you can store it in this place called local storage. Now, the only thing with local storage is it saves strings, and only strings. This object here is not a string. It does have a string in one of its values, but this entire thing is not a string. So when you're ready to save something, like an object, you can take that object and you can set it equal to itself. Now this is redundant because I haven't changed anything, but luckily, there is a built-in method you can use called json.stringify. So this line of code will take your car, you'll take your object, and it will convert it to a nice, lovely string that we can then store. So I've done the conversion, but I haven't actually stored this object now. So I can do that in a separate line of code where I can go to my local storage. I can set an item in local storage, and I need two things. The first thing is inside a pair of quotations, and it's called the key. And it's basically like the name of your saved file. So I'm saving a car into storage. So if I ever want to access this car, I'm gonna make it the same name. I'm gonna put the key as car. The second thing you put inside is what you're actually is the object or whatever it is you're trying to actually save in local storage. So I want to save this object, so I'm gonna put car. If I save my website, I fire it up, look at my console, no errors, which is good. So I'm assuming that it's saved to my storage correctly. But how do I know? Well, what I could do is I've got saving, but I could get retrieving. So I'm going to make a new object. I'm going to call this car2. And car2 has no relationship to that one. We made that car, we saved it, we moved on with our lives. I'm going to make a separate car. I'm going to say car2. Car2, I'm going to go into storage. I'm going to go into storage and try to find the car I saved. So I'm going to go local storage. And I'm not going to set item. I'm actually going to get an item. And what item am I trying to get? Well, previously I saved an object under this key value, car. So I'm looking for that car. I'm trying to get that car. Now remember, local storage has a bunch of things saved in string format, right? Because we stringified it. So I need to convert it back to an object. And I can do that with a JSON.parse. So I've created this new variable, and this variable is going to be equal to this object that we're trying to find in local storage. And I'm just parsing it so that it's actually usable, like this first object was up here. No errors in my console yet. It's good. So if there was in fact something under the value of key, the key value of car, this should be equal to it. So let's see if it was. Car2 should be equal to this original object. So I should be able to fetch the model, and I should be able to see the value of BMW. Let's display it to the console. There it is right there. I made an object, I converted it to a string, and I saved it in my storage. I made a second object, and I made this object equal to the one I had saved in storage. And now I've loaded that, and I have access to it. I can change it too now. I could say car2.kilometers plus equals, maybe I took it to Winnipeg there, 200 kilometers. Car2.kilometers console.log. Let's see what we get. It started at 300,000. I put 200 on it, so it should be 300,200. And sure enough, there it is. I could now save this car with its changes. I could save it now to that storage place. And you get the idea. So, really, the bulk of this video can be hummed down. Heck, you could have even made that loaded car. You could have did it in one line like that. So these 3 lines, if you understand them, then you can now save stuff into your local storage. And it doesn't matter if you close the website, when you come back, it should be good. Or if you refresh, you should be okay.